Dum dee dum doo doo dee da.
Using modal verbs. How to use modal verbs. By now, you learned a lot about the modal verbs, who they are and what do they usually do, how do they behave, and what do they like. Now, let's see some real life action and practical examples. Of course, the possibilities of using modal verbs are endless, but I'll try to show you some often used or helpful phrases. The restaurant. If you don't eat, you die. So, getting food is obviously one of the most important parts of surviving in a foreign language. We already mentioned a lot of these examples. In a restaurant, you will often be asked, Was möchten Sie trinken? Or Möchten Sie etwas trinken? What do you want to drink? Or Do you want to drink something? Ich möchte eine Tasse Tee bitte. Ich möchte ein Bier bitte. Ich möchte ein Glas Wein bitte. I'm sorry, I don't have a wine glass. I'm not that classy. You, of course, noticed that the other verb is missing here. It's a common expression, and we all know that you want to trinken, so we can leave it out. The waiter brings you the menu, comes back a moment later, and asks, Möchten Sie bestellen? Do you want to order? Was möchten Sie essen? What would you like to eat? Ich möchte pick something from the menu. And don't forget to say bitte. Well, the meal was fantastic, and you ask, Kann ich bitte die Rechnung bekommen? Can I get the check, please? Fast food or Imbiss. Was darf es sein? What would you like? We know that darf means to be permitted, but here it's used in an idiom sentence. I said idiom, a phrase that is always used in the same form and cannot be translated literally. Ich möchte eine Bratwurst bitte. I want a sausage, please. Möchten Sie Pommes dazu? Do you want fries with that? Na klar. Fun fact. Wurst is a German specialty and a big part of German cuisine. The Germans have the largest selection of Wurst worldwide, over 1,500 different kinds. Recipes for the sausage vary by region and even locally. A sausage recipe from a certain area is a closely guarded secret, and a sausage as beloved as the town's soccer team. Das ist mir Wurst. It's sausage to me. Useful German phrase to state it's all the same to me. I couldn't care less. Another German phrase including the sausage. Alles hat ein Ende, nur die Wurst hat zwei. Everything has an ending, only the sausage has two, meaning everything has to come to an end, except for the sausage. Alles hat ein Ende, nur die Wurst hat zwei. Mein Schatz, es ist vorbei. Enough with the sausage. Reisen. Let's talk about some other useful expressions with modal verbs that you can use while traveling. Georg will nächstes Jahr nach Deutschland reisen. Georg made a good decision and wants to travel to Germany next year. But he will need to learn a few phrases before he goes. Ich möchte eine Fahrkarte nach Berlin reservieren oder kaufen. I want to book or buy a ticket to Berlin. And don't forget to check. Muss ich umsteigen? do I have to transfer? Once you reach the hotel, hostel, motel, or whatever you will call home for the time of your stay, express your wishes with Ich möchte. Ich möchte ein Einzelbett. I'd like a single bed. Ich möchte ein Zimmer mit Dusche. I'd like a room with a shower. Ich möchte whatever you want. Asking for directions. If you are traveling, chances are you will get lost. The modal verbs will come handy in these kinds of situations, especially this phrase. Entschuldigung, können Sie mir bitte helfen? Sorry, could you please help me? Just start like this. You will get out of a lot of difficult situations. For example, asking for directions. Entschuldigung, können Sie mir bitte sagen, wo der Bahnhof ist? Excuse me, could you please tell me where the train station is? Or die Post? Or das Hotel? Somewhere at this point, your conversation partner will probably start answering in a beautiful, fast native German. Didn't understand the word? No problem. Don't panic. Just politely ask this. Können Sie das bitte wiederholen? Can you please repeat that? Können Sie bitte langsamer sprechen? Could you please speak slower? Or if you really just don't get it, try with Können Sie mir das bitte auf der Karte zeigen? Can you show it on the map? Verbote, prohibitions. When you see this kind of sentences, be very careful because it means that you are not allowed to do something here and could get punished. So watch out for the darf plus nicht. Hier darf man nicht parken. It's not allowed to park here. Hier darf man nicht rauchen. It's not allowed to smoke here. And the same way, you can use the expression darf man hier to ask if you're allowed to do something in this place. Darf man hier fotografieren? Is it allowed to take photos here? Nein. Fußball. Schweinsteiger kann sehr gut Fußball spielen. Schweinsteiger can play football. Schweinsteiger kann nicht Fußball spielen. Schweinsteiger can't play football. That should be enough for a football conversation. Verabredungen. Not as scary as it sounds. Appointments. Wollt ihr am Freitag zur Party kommen? Do you want to come to the party on Friday? Of course. Möchtest du heute ins Kino gehen? Do you want to go to the movies today? Ich kann leider nicht. Ich muss arbeiten. Unfortunately, I can't. I have to work. So you can combine möchtest du or willst du with a simple verb like gehen or kommen, and you can form a fully functional invitation. Getting stuck. Difficult verbs. You know the situation. Your German was just getting really fluent. You said already 6 words without pausing, and your German was feeling so good as if you were born and raised in the center of Köln. When suddenly it just gets stuck somewhere on the way from your brain to your mouth, or you find yourself confronted with an extremely wild and violent type of verb, and you are not brave enough yet to battle it or put it into your sentence. I assume you guessed who you're gonna call. The modal verbs. I already mentioned that modal verbs can help you if you get stuck, and I'll explain to you what I mean by that. Let's take, for example, you want to say that your friend is driving to Berlin tomorrow. The verb you want to use is fahren, and it's an irregular one, a dangerous and wild verb. So the sentence would go: Mein Freund fährt nächste Woche nach Berlin. As you can see, there was a huge amount of plastic surgery going on with this verb, even some dots jumping in and similar. So, if you don't feel quite confident enough to battle with this irregular conjugation, just put the modal verb into the sentence. Why? Because the verb then automatically turns into the infinitive form, which always looks the same, with the ending en. Mein Freund muss morgen nach Berlin fahren. Or mein Freund will morgen nach Berlin fahren. Problem solved. You only have to watch out that you change the modal verb the right way and that the other verb is at the end of the sentence. But you already got all of that, don't you? A few more examples. Let's say we are back at the restaurant again. You place your order and want to ask your conversation and dinner partner what will they order. Was du can't remember the right verb? Don't know how to use it correctly? Instead of getting confused, just use the modal verb. Was möchtest du essen? What do you want to eat? Or let's say you want to tell someone to call you on your cell phone. Since anrufen, to call, is a separable verb, meaning it falls apart in the sentence, instead of setting it apart and picking it up later, probably causing some collateral damage on the way, just use the modal verb. Du sollst mich auf mein Handy anrufen. You should call me on my cell phone. Of course, the meaning changes a tiny bit, so it's not the perfect solution. But your first and most important goal should be not to get stuck in the conversation. And this can help before you fully develop your communication skills.
Alles hat ein Ende, nur die Wurst hat zwei. Jawohl, mein Schatz, es ist vorbei. Doch du musst nicht traurig sein. Du bist ja nicht lang alleine. Alles hat ein Ende.